Flex your business with an American Express Business Gold Card. You'll earn 4 times membership rewards points on your top 2 eligible spending categories, like transit and electronics, each month, on up to $150K in combined purchases per year. Plus, you can now earn 3 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more at AmericanExpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold, built for business by American Express.
Welcome to the Eagles Checkdown, the fastest under 10-minute Eagles podcast there is, covering news, notes, and opinions on your Philadelphia Eagles. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, and I'm back, baby, after a week off, and unfortunately you had to hear Shane cover for me over the New Year's holiday. I'm back, and what better day to get back than Monday, January 6th, with the snow in the Delaware Valley, and the Eagles finished their regular season with a 20-13 victory over the New York Giants to finish the season 14-3. And guys, it's playoff time. We're gonna recap the game a little bit today, and then we will dive deep as the week goes on to our first round opponent in the playoffs. First and foremost, as this season comes to a close, I want to start this show off congratulating Nick Sirianni on another successful season, bringing another Eagles team to 14-3, another playoff appearance, the number 2 seed in the NFC. He is now 48-20 as the Eagles head coach, first in winning percentage among active NFL head coaches, third all-time in winning percentage in coaches since the Super Bowl era began. A lot of people clown on Nick Sirianni on a regular basis, but I think 48-20 speaks for itself. He went out there and beat the Giants, I guess, starters with a bunch of backups on Sunday. And just, continues to solidify himself as a strong head coach, not just a strong head coach, a great head coach in the NFL. The game 2013, there's a little bit to talk about. Excuse me. Tanner McKee started the game, his first NFL career start. He went a really strong 27-41, threw for 269 yards, 2 touchdowns, had just over a 100 quarterback rating, and early in the game, first half of the football game, Tanner McKee was just magic out there. Tanner McKee is going to feed his family for a long time with the performance he put out there on the field, hitting receivers in stride, play action, reading the defense just the right way, going through progressions. Everything that everybody claims and complains about, Jalen Hurts, he did completely different. Let's be honest here. Before the overreactions happen, and before you fall into the trap of the overreactions, it was the New York Giants. It was a team that just finished 3-14. It was a team that is just straight terrible. A lot of the Giants starters, outside of a select few, would not even be on an NFL football team, or at least starting on another NFL football team. So let's get that out of the way. Let's congratulate Tanner McKee. He looked great. He might be the Eagles' number 2 quarterback. It's something we'll get into when the season ends, what Howie Roseman needs to do with Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee, because you have 2 very good, capable backup quarterbacks on this team, both with very cheap contracts in an NFL draft where a lot of teams need quarterbacks. So one of those guys won't be here. We'll get into that in the offseason, but it was an excellent performance from him. Showed he's very capable of being Jalen Hurts' backup if the Eagles decide to move on from Kenny Pickett, or maybe a team that misses out on one of the top quarterbacks in the draft might want to make a move for Kenny Pickett or for Tanner McKee. So we'll see how that plays out. Will Shipley and Kenny Gain will handle the rushing duties. We did not run the ball well. Jahan Dotson was the next big bright spot for me, having 7 catches, 94 yards, a couple of big catches in the game. Just proving why he's the number 3 wide receiver on this team. Aeneas Smith and E.J. Jenkins both caught their first NFL touchdowns in the game today. So congratulations to them. Defensively speaking, the linebackers, Oren Burks and Jeremiah Trotter Jr., led the team in tackles. We did not get a sack on Drew Lock, but they were the tackling leaders. Trotter Jr. had some ups and downs throughout the game, as did Tristan McCollum. Some great plays late in the game, some iffy plays early in the game. Trotter Jr. was all over the field, but he did miss some tackles and stuff like that throughout the game. There's not a lot to really ho-hum about with the defense. I mean, again, we were going up against Drew Lock, held him to 138 passing yards. They did end up rushing for 100 yards against us on a 4-yard per carry. And I just got to complain for a half a second about Malik Neighbors. He was his 45-yard touchdown catch was, a big chunk of that 138 passing yards out there chirping and stuff to the Eagles fans that were in attendance. Guys, come on now. You're 3-14. You don't need to chirp like that. Like, there's no reason, no concerns whatsoever for you to be doing that. But again, another solid performance by the Eagles backup defenders. I know Milton Williams and Jordan Davis, played some snaps throughout the game, but for the most part, they weren't effective or much. They didn't do much. We held them to 238 yards of total offense there, and 100 of that was rushing, and then obviously the 45-yard touchdown play. Time possession was pretty tight there, but I was looking for another stat here as I was doing it. And yes, the Eagles had 1 penalty for 0 yards on the game. So they played a disciplined game for backups as well. So what's next? The Eagles are entering the playoffs now. And I held off recording this for a few extra minutes because I wanted to see how those, Commanders and Packers games played out. And the Green Bay Packers lost their game at the last second, giving up a last-second field goal to the Chicago Bears. So we will be facing the Green Bay Packers next week in Philadelphia. Date and time to be determined by probably Tuesday's show. I'll have that information for you. So we will face the Green Bay Packers. Now, who will we be facing on the Green Bay Packers? That's up for discussion. They blew that game. They played terribly down the stretch of that game. But Jordan Love did get hurt in that game, hurt his hand and, did not return. Malik Willis is their backup quarterback. Christian Watson, their wide receiver, hurt his knee and had to be carted off the field. I believe it's the same knee he hurt earlier in the season. So they might be out their starting quarterback and one of their star wide receivers as well next week. So that's something to monitor as the week goes on. Even what Green Bay Packers are we going to face? The Green Bay Packers are a very good team. We faced them and beat them week 1 in Brazil. But, they're a much different team as the season went on. At full health, we'll get into it. They're a very good football team, but we don't know what the status of their health is going to be. And we have to worry about the health of our team as well. What will Jalen Hurts, when will he clear concussion protocol? We saw and read that he did do walkthroughs with the team on Saturday, which means he is progressing through the protocols. I am expecting him to play on Saturday or Sunday next week, depending on which game it is. But I do feel he will clear concussion protocol, and we should be going into the playoffs with a fully healthy team. I know Saquon Barkley didn't play, and we didn't have shows last week to discuss it. Check out Trade in the AM. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., we'll get into it. But the amount of injuries I saw today in the NFL of playoff teams playing starters is exactly why Saquon Barkley didn't play and go for the record on Sunday against the Giants. So we'll see how that goes. But I feel confident as long as Jalen Hurts is healthy and his concussion, he clears that this Eagles team should march through these playoffs. I will be looking for Minnesota and I'll be looking for Detroit as the 2 teams that we have to worry about. I'm recording this before their Sunday night football game. They'll be the 2 teams that will give the Eagles the biggest challenge in the playoffs, whether we face them in the divisional round, the championship game, whatever it may be. We'll see when that bridge is crossed. But, guys, it's the Eagles Checkdown. I'm back. The Eagles win 20-13. Tanner McKee. We got a controversy at quarterback, right, guys? I'm just kidding with you guys. I'm not going to play that game this week like everybody else. We'll be back tomorrow. It's snowing out there in the Delaware Valley, so please make sure that you guys take care. Be safe if you're driving around. If you can stay in, you do it. Some areas are going to get a significant amount of snowfall on Monday. So, guys, everybody have a great Monday. Go Birds! And bubbles up to you.